Every story has an ending. Does our quest to play the top 100 courses in 10 years have a good ending? I'm Nish,
I'm Chris.
and we're here to guide you through this golfing journey. This is the Top 110 Golf Podcast. Episode 28, The Glorious Playground, Gleneagles Queen's Course Preview. There's a quote from a chap called Patrick Dickinson, who wrote a book about Gleneagles, and he said about the resort in general, he said, "Let us be fair from the very start, and even before we start, Gleneagles is something that was created and exists sheerly to please." Now that's a nice quote to go into the weekend, isn't it?
That's a nice little thought to have in your head as you're driving the 4 or
First-
5 hours up to Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we've only just done it. We've been up for guy who does our branding, Tom Biddle, just been up for his wedding, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much next door to Gleneagles.
Yeah,
So we
so
sort of drove
you've already
past.
done the trip.
Yeah, it's great. I don't think my car's going to be able to hack it for, for two weeks in a row. But the Queen's course, which is what we're playing first, is ranked 77 on our list,
Yep.
and it's been really difficult to actually get information that's kind of course specific because there
Yeah,
are
I
three
think 'cause
courses there.
and also I think because of the hotel, right? The hotel is almost probably more famous than the golf course in some
Yeah.
ways. So a lot of it's kind of like wrapped up in that, I think, isn't it? So you kind of get some good kind of Gleneagles general kind of general kind of content about the experience of going to Gleneagles and the hotel and how wonderful a place it is and all the customer service and stuff, but you don't necessarily see or hear that much about the golf courses. There's a little bit of a kind of enigma about them, isn't there, in some ways?
Yeah, and that, they don't put too much on their website
No, it's
either.
kept to a minimum, and I'm guessing for a reason, right? It's to kind of
It's because it's
whet the
epic.
appetite a little bit. And,
Yeah, but all the touches that are there are like the website is. Well, one of the things that we found out. So the way we're playing these two courses is we're taking our wives up because we feel like this is going to be a once in a lifetime type experience.
Yep.
Actually, not because of that. It's because we love them very much. But it's a real once in a lifetime experience. The hotel, which then Lucy subsequently told us,
Yeah.
the 41st best hotel in the world.
Yeah.
So that's got my juices flowing already. There's a 2 Michelin restaurant in there, so we're gonna go and have some food in there.
Yep.
We're going all out, really, aren't we? We're even staying in the Premier Inn in Stirling the night before so that we can
get
save
the full
our pennies.
experience at 7 a.m. when we rock up on Gleneagles doorstep.
So I feel like it's been building up quite a lot anyway, and then when we get to prepare for the previews, you're scrabbling around to find some information, and you know, with every other course, there's like detailed flyovers of each hole.
Yeah.
There is, you know, really detailed yardage books and visualizers and all this kind of stuff, and then lots of people have played these courses and left really detailed reviews.
Yeah. It seemed to be that much kind of information
No.
out there, and it's odd, isn't it? Because like occasionally, I mean, I don't chat to my friends too much about this because it bores the hell out of them. So I just chat to you about it, Nish.
Yeah.
But I chat to a few of my friends that aren't golfers, and you say, "Oh, we're going to play St David's this week," and they're like, just a glazed look.
I haven't got the
don't really give a
foggiest.
shit.
Yeah.
Don't care. Not interested. Can we talk about something else now? But like, you say Gleneagles, and that. Oh right, yeah, Gleneagles.
Yeah.
One of my first mates that I spoke to about it, he was this was before we'd done any, and he was like, well, you're not gonna be able to do that, are you? I was like, well, why not? I was like, you're never gonna be able to get on some of these places. Like, how the hell are you, Chris Gibbons?
I like that.
Gonna get into Gleneagles?
This is a uni mate, is it?
No, this is a mate from home. So yeah.
Oh, so they're even older, right?
Yeah.
As uni mates are mates from really like far back can say stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, he's like, how are you gonna get into Gleneagles? Like, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like, that was the first course that came to mind for him. That was like, one of the most famous ones,
isn't it?
Yeah.
But so the story of how we have got onto Gleneagles. So we are actually playing as much as we're doing the weekend away, but we are actually playing the two courses back to back. We're playing them in Queen's first, which is what we're reviewing today.
Yep.
And we're playing King's second, and we're going to review that next week. Preview that, I should say, next week, and we'll do the same with the reviews. But we are playing with, so I mentioned Tom before we went up to Scotland for his wedding. It's his wife's uncle, so Katie's uncle. He's called Uncle Hendy.
Big thanks to Uncle Hendy.
Massive,
Yeah.
particularly as he's I don't know if he was crying it in because he thinks he's not going to play very well, or whether he was actually worried about getting on. But he thinks he's done his rotator cuffing
Oh dear.
quite a few weeks ago, but he's not sure. But
Well, if he's done that, he's
he
not going to
said
be
that he
playing
said
golf
he
anytime
was
soon.
playing, he was fishing, so he was
Ah,
like,
okay.
whatever.
Classic
But
fishing injury, that.
well, what he's done is he's done us a right treat actually. So Hendy's been a member. Hendy's a great character, by the way. So I hope he does get to play with us fully
Yeah, yeah, that'd
because
be
he's
good.
a great laugh,
Okay,
like a full-on good laugh,
excellent.
good Scottish banter.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
And so he's been a member there for 25 years.
Okay,
Doesn't get to play much, which is
okay.
criminal, but he doesn't
Yeah,
get to play much.
yeah, yeah,
So already we're in. We've got someone who knows the lay of the land, all that kind of thing.
yeah.
It's likely we're going to be playing with a buddy of his,
Okay.
who again I met at the wedding.
Yep,
Now, if he plays with us, he's been a member. He certainly can do the Saturday,
yep.
so that's King's course definitely. But he's
Okay,
going to see if he can do Queen's.
perfect.
He has been a member of Gleneagles for 60 years.
Wow.
So he joined, it was a family membership that his family took on
Okay.
60 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was 10 guineas. I don't know what that is in modern money.
10 guineas.
Maybe that's
Wow.
worth a Google, but 10 guineas for the whole family
Right.
to
Okay.
join, and he's been a
Wow.
member ever since.
Wow.
So
So what's that then? Do my quick maths. What's that like? 60s? So like
60s,
yeah,
yeah.
like
So he's seen one of the things that has come out, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, is the changes in the course and the re-changes back.
yeah.
But so he's seen all of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so for him to be able to go, actually, this is what's changed,
Yeah, yeah.
is incredible.
Probably seen it before
And before even that,
and then the change and then after the
yeah.
change. Yeah, yeah.
So it's quite that's. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to playing with Hendy anyway. But like
Yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as that got chucked into the mix, I was like, oh my god, like this is going to be even better now.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels like you watch a lot of other podcasts and golf course review videos,
Yeah.
and somebody will come out a little bit like when Gareth came out with us and gave
Yeah,
us a
yeah.
full history and all that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
this is like somebody who's
I mean,
lived
literally seen
through
it
the
all.
history.
Literally seen it all.
He
Yeah.
so Gareth was younger than us, so
Yeah.
for him to go, oh yeah, there's all these, yeah, great, but you've not really seen that.
Yeah,
And as
yeah.
much as we appreciated it, it was great.
Yeah.
But this is, yeah, like,
You're gonna get some real tail, I would
I
imagine, like a
remember
good old.
if you'd have hit your tee shot there 60 years ago,
Yeah.
oof, yeah, you'd have been in trouble. That kind of, I mean, I'm looking forward to that
But I think
already.
even just like there must be some pretty awesome stories around it, just like,
Well,
celebrities that have been there and just the general like there must be some pretty cool tales
yeah,
around the Gleneagles.
it's,
Um,
it feels like it's, yeah, like I think you say at the top of maybe before, but that kind of playground of the rich and famous in
yeah,
Scotland.
yeah,
And yeah, like I think it was mentioned in the same breath on one of the reviews that I read as Loch Lomond, and Loch Lomond is quite mythical
yeah, yeah,
in that respect, and you can't just get on there and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I just feel like I'm giddy with excitement
absolutely.
about playing these courses.
But I think it's also, I guess, kind of alluding to what I was just saying. It's the first course really that like it's kind of a big deal, right?
It's a big hitter,
It's
or
a,
the
but like it's
resort
like
is.
Gleneagles,
People know
like
it.
it's yeah, people know it.
Yeah.
It's a big,
I mean,
it's
what
the
have we?
biggest name by far that we've played so
I
far, I
think
think, isn't it? In terms of
up to now that was SNA, wasn't it? And reputationally, everybody knows SNA who's a golfer.
yeah.
But
But I mean, you say
like you
that to a
said, your
layman, right?
mates
Absolutely no
don't
idea.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
these are the
everybody knows Gleneagles. Everyone from every part of the world. You know what I mean? Everyone knows Gleneagles. Like there's probably at least 50-60% of the golf courses on that list that
they'll
even most
people.
like most Americans or whatever would never have heard of.
I'd not heard of them, to be
Yeah,
perfectly
exactly. A
honest
lot
with
of
you.
them we'd never heard of them. Yeah, we live
Yeah,
here, right?
that's it.
But Gleneagles is pretty iconic, isn't it?
Now, also, chuck in, and I think one of the other reasons I'm really looking forward to this whole weekend is the name Gleneagles jumps into a lot of golf fans' memory banks anyway, straight away, because in 2014 it hosted the Ryder Cup,
Yep.
which Paul McGinley was captain. Jamie Donaldson famously hit his approach shot. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I was actually there, and I was on the side of that green when he hit that approach shot.
Nice.
And we were not in the midst of celebrations because you are ushered away from
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we were caught up in that whole thing, and seeing him, walking down the fairway with his finger in the air, and
Yeah,
it was like felt 20 feet tall, all that kind of thing.
yeah.
We lived through that,
Yeah.
and we're not playing that course. Obviously, that's the PGA Centenary course. That was
Yeah.
purpose built.
Yeah.
In some quarters, very rudely described as an absolute abomination of Scottish golf.
Yeah, well, isn't it? It's like ranked like 50 odd just in Scotland, isn't it? So it's like, what? It's nowhere near
It's
the top
nowhere
100
near.
UK
Yeah,
hounds. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But then you said you watched a review video and somebody said they thought it was the best
Yeah.
of the lot.
However, it was another podcast actually, but I think basically what happened is he'd played really well
There are
that
no other
day.
podcasts, Chris. What are you talking
He'd played really well that day and hadn't played so well the other day, so I suspect that that's probably,
about? Okay, there's a little bit of
yeah, that's kind of gone into his thinking.
what's that now? That
But I
would
think
be
ultimately it's a big kind of American style golf course that,
long.
yeah, long, lots of big bunkers, wide, really wide
Yeah,
fairways.
you could
Whereas,
see what they'd done to make it a Ryder
yeah,
Cup
I mean,
course.
look, like you say, they've purpose built it, right? They've built it so you can
Yeah.
have loads of crowds there. They've built it so there's going to be exciting moments, and
Mm.
but I think yeah, the Kings and Queens are slightly different in terms of their,
Yeah, they feel like the like the grand old
yeah, it
like
feels kind of old
grand
school,
old
doesn't it?
school
It
courses.
does.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I've gone to the extent where I've bought myself some really nice new shoes. I bought a nice Lylan
Does that
Scott
not happen for every
sweater,
round though,
pretty
Nish?
much at the minute. Nice Lylan Scott sweater, but that just it feels like it deserves that extra little bit. And I've not felt the need like one of the courses we potentially can get on later on this year is Dornoch, which is in the top 5.
Yeah.
Royal Dornoch, even with the Royal, even when I've played the place that shall remain nameless, that I played a couple of times, I've not felt the need to do that up my what I'm wearing
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they're hands
yeah.
on, but I feel like it deserves that little bit of extra.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, I don't, I don't know that
Je ne
little
sais
extra.
quoi.
Yeah, a little soupçon of extra dress, but yeah. So so it holds a bit of special, something special for me anyway, and I'm really looking forward to being in that place. And obviously, I've seen all the videos afterwards and they do all the behind the scenes stuff, and that would have been in the actual hotel and resort itself. So
Yeah.
things might sort of pop up, and I might have a bit of. I mean, I didn't see it at the time, obviously, because we weren't allowed. We were just spectators. But yeah, the whole like getting there at 5 in the morning and then running to get to the first tee, all that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. I mean,
I've
it
still
was
never done a Ryder Cup. I would like to do that at some
yeah,
point.
it was.
Like a
We
good
the first
experience.
one we went to was Celtic Manor.
Okay, yeah.
That was the first time they'd done this whole amphitheatre first tee.
Yeah,
They'd never
yeah.
done that before,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't really that big. So actually, getting there was
You could get in.
quite easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I mean, we had some good laughs at that one actually, because it was the first golf thing I'd ever seen live anyway.
Right.
Like I'd never
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
a tournament of any description. So to have this kind of Europe USA thing, brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
It was my first experience of uh, American golf
Okay.
fans as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Never seen that, whatever. And it was hilarious because we're in like South Wales. You're getting a whole mishmash of accents from the British Isles there.
Yeah, yeah.
They were not getting any of the chanting that the Europeans were doing at all. Like they just couldn't. I think yeah, the accents weren't cutting through. So we had some good fun with that. But I guess we're getting back to the Queen's course. Now the Queen's course is described as the fun of. I'm going to say the two. Let's say the two at the minute. Let's take PGA out of the equation. But
Yeah.
the two original courses, the
Uh-huh.
the fun one of the two,
The fun little sister, I think I've
the
heard it
fun little
require.
sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's Her Majesty the Queen up in heaven,
The
been
fun
described
little
as the fun
sister.
little sister. Well, I'm not sure she'd like that, but yeah, I mean it's a really short course. It's like 5,600 yards from the yellows.
Yeah.
I think even the whites only just tipped to 6,000.
Which is
So
pretty wild, isn't it? I reckon
yeah,
we can still make a mess of it though, Nish.
oh, 100%. I fully expect that. But it's got one par five
Yeah.
and five par threes, I should say.
Yeah. Has
Sorry.
it got it's got back-to-back par threes as well, hasn't it?
Oh,
I
has
think.
it?
Yeah, yeah. Is it like 12 and 13 or something, I think.
Interesting. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I blanked par threes out now after Woodall. But I'm led to believe that the par threes are a particular strength of this course.
Yeah, you'd hope so if there's 5 of them.
Yeah, and I think they've got some like blind tee shots and things like that. So I've got a renewed appreciation now for blind shots in general. Like, I
That's a
quite
good
like
thing, I
that.
think, by the sounds of it,
I
especially
think
for the King's course. It sounds like there's
yeah, there's
a
a lot of undulation. I think,
lot of
isn't there?
blind tee shots on the King's course, I believe.
Well, there you go. And we've got somebody who's been their member for 60 years guiding us
Perfect.
through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just head for that. Yeah, great. Okay, fine. And then the other thing I've got about the Queen's course is that they say that it does actually probably enjoy the best views of
Yeah.
the local countryside.
Which I imagine is probably quite a high bar set by the others anyway.
I mean, when we
Just
were
looking at some of
driving
the
through there,
videos.
Chris,
Yeah.
I mean, it was stunning,
It's such a
honestly.
beautiful part of the world, isn't
It's
it?
a
I mean, I've never been
lovely,
to
lovely.
Gleneagles, but just around.
Well, we were, I think, where the wedding was. was probably around about 45 minutes further along the road. It was smaller roads,
Yeah.
but 45 minutes further along. But when we saw the signs, we went, oh, well, let's have a little drive. And I was like, I don't know, don't really
Don't want
want
to
to,
waste
because we're
it.
driving for 4.5 hours already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I'm getting that already. We're a week away, and I'm getting that excitement
Yeah,
about
definitely.
what is it going to feel like? What's the approach going to be like?
Yeah.
And in fact, are we a week? Yeah, we are a week away. Yeah, that's right. We're a week away. So yeah, I think this trip now starting to feel pucker now, isn't
I
it?
feel like this is probably the most exciting one we've done so far.
This is it, isn't it?
Most excitement building because it's not just golf, is it?
Oh, there's so
There's
much
so much
more.
more surrounding it than that.
By the end of it, I might be saying that as well. It wasn't just about the golf, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah,
see
yeah.
how the
Let's forget
scorecard
about the
goes.
golf.
Yeah. So I suppose we ought to give a little bit of history of the club. Now,
Yeah.
we said at the outset there is a little bit of a dearth of information
Hmm.
about the course. There's not much on the website because it's primarily hotel based,
Yep.
and it's one of these things where it's a bit of an annoyance actually that you can get really good golf courses. They're linked to a hotel and it's a resort, and it's like the golf. There's very minimal information about it.
And I think that's it's often the case, isn't it? I think
Mm.
the Belfry and Celtic Manor are kind of similar. I think in that
It's almost like the
it's a resort, right? Like they would.
golf's an afterthought
Yeah.
almost. Yeah,
I mean, it's almost not the primary objective, is it? The objective is to get you there for 2 or 3 days and get
spend
you to
lots of
spend loads
cash.
of money,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, we'll be doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
100%.
But
But you
yeah,
could do a bar crawl in all the bars.
yeah,
We could
and
do
we
that.
will.
I think we will. Yeah.
And an
So,
important note: not only can you do a bar crawl, but the breakfast buffet, which is supposed to be
oh,
amazing,
yeah.
also has a Bloody Mary stand, I
Oh
believe.
yes. It's just getting better, isn't it? It's
So I
just
mean,
getting
yeah,
better.
I mean, there might not actually be any golf played over the weekend.
We've got a later tea time on the Kings, haven't
Okay,
we? I think it's 12 o'clock
yeah.
on the at the Kings School. So that might be a bit of a saving
Oh, I've got a
grace. But
5 hour drive back home after
oh
completing
yeah,
that
you've got to
route.
drive back, Chris. I'm gonna go hell for leather on that
Yeah,
Bloody
yeah,
Mary.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bloody Mary stand. It might get me through the round.
yeah.
I think we were talking to Colin, so he's the one who's been a member for 60 years,
Yeah.
and he said in passing, he was like, "Well, make sure you have a drink in the American bar.
Okay.
I think that's a really famous bar at
Yeah.
Gleneagles. I hope you bring your credit card with you."
Okay.
I'm like, okay, right, fine. So it has been cleared
Okay.
just to make space, but yeah, we said it, didn't we, at the start? Like, if we go in, we're going
We're
to
gonna
get the
do
full
it. Yeah. Yeah.
experience,
There's no point in going and half doing it, is there? Like you say, you're only gonna go once.
Yeah, so history of the club wise, there's not that much around, but a name that golf fans certainly will be familiar with, and that's James Braid,
Yeah.
a very famous course designer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's designed both courses, the Kings and the Queens.
Yeah.
Sadly, didn't live to design the PGA Centenary one for the Ryder Cup. But this course was the first one to open. The Queens. It opened in 1917
Yeah.
for actual play by patrons kind of thing, or whatever you'd call them. And the whole state in general has been described as one of the finest parcels of golfing land on the British Isles.
Nice.
Now
It's
we
not a bad
have a
tagline,
lot.
is it?
It's a great tagline, and we have a lot of stunning places to play golf on our
Yeah.
Fair Isles. Like
Yeah.
we're probably oversubscribed with that, really, aren't
Yeah.
we?
You
You
think
know,
so?
like, are we going to get to 100 and we're like numb to it all and that kind of thing? And you're looking for the next thrill. It's like you need a bigger roller coaster each time. But for it to be described as that, I think, and then having driven through it,
Yeah.
that area, I was like, if there's that golf course is here, stunning backdrops. I think I mentioned it. I might have mentioned it in a preview before, but which is where I was looking forward to playing Woodall because it was inland.
Yeah.
I like trees. I
Yeah.
like the backdrop of the tree.
I
I
know what you
like to
mean.
see nature's ball tracer, right?
Yeah.
You hit the ball and you can see the white ball against the backdrop of the dark trees. I love that.
Yeah.
That for me, that's golf. That's magical
Yeah.
for me. So if we're gonna get that in bucket loads.
Yeah. With a few
There we are.
mountains in the background as well.
Oh,
It's
just
not gonna
a
be bad, is
stunning
it?
place to play golf, and
Yeah.
feels a bit unheralded, really, doesn't it? Because kind of in the middle of Scotland, isn't it? It's not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like
It's
anywhere
pretty
near.
unusual, like, because
Yeah,
most of the courses are links courses, right?
that's it. Yeah.
So it's fairly unique, I'd say, in terms of Scottish golf.
The main thing that's happened that's probably worked in our favour is that in 2017
Yeah.
they completed a complete renovation of the Queen's course.
Okay.
This bit isn't in our favour. They added 89 bunkers,
Sweet.
which
How many are there now?
uh
90.
don't. Yeah, they only had one before, probably. But that was basically to enhance the view, which is great. Looking forward to that, and aid drainage.
Okay.
So I think there was another review I read where it said the springy firm.
Mm.
Those things don't really. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? Springy firm. How can you have
Springy
that?
firm turf.
The springy fairways that encourage firm contact. It said that was it. That encourages firm contact. In itself is something I'm really looking forward to. Like, if I get hit the fairway, like last round, does not fill me with any kind of confidence. But it's moved everything back to more original design. I think they went and looked back through sketches that James
Yeah,
Braid had
that's
done
right. Yeah, yeah.
and trying to renovate it
But they
all.
did make the fairways 40% wider, I believe, which is definitely in our favour.
Very much
I
so.
mean, 40% is quite a lot, isn't it?
Having said that, we have said this plenty of times, haven't we? Where we've gone, give me a big wide fairway and there's no way I'm hitting it.
Yeah, that is true.
Like that happens so much, doesn't it?
Also true.
I
I think with the Queens it's quite short, isn't it? And I think there are quite a lot of hazards on there, like quite a lot of
Yeah.
forest and stuff
I
like
think
that kind
there's
of
a
around,
premium on
isn't there?
strategic golf on
Yeah,
the Queens.
definitely.
So how do you feel about playing Queens first over Kings? We didn't have a choice, but which I'll explain in a minute. But how do you feel about
Um,
that?
how do I feel about that? I think that's probably quite a good thing.
Mm.
I think it just eases us in a little bit, I think.
Do you think it
Um,
will ease us, or do you think it'll be a pretty tough test?
I don't know. In my mind, it's going to be much, much easier because it's only 5,500 yards.
Are we
But
sticking on described as fun?
yeah,
So we're
it's going to be fun.
gonna have fun.
But exactly, we don't care. We're staying in Gleneagles. We're going to have a nice time. We're going to
I'm
be.
like that. Whoever wrote it's fun. Like I'm gonna hunt them down if we
Yeah,
have an
after you've shot
absolute stinker
120.
that day. Yeah. Like, what do you just define fun? Like, give me a description of what you mean by fun, because you sound like a miserable git. Um,
Tell you
yeah.
what is fun though, Nish,
Go on.
and this is a little nugget that I've come across, and I've never come across this before,
Okay.
up until just kind of doing a bit of research into Gleneagles. But the Queen's Course used to be the host to like an 80s TV show called Pro Celebrity Golf.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this, and I've just never.
Honest to God, go and have a look at it. It is absolute
So
gold.
go on and give me the elevator pitch for
So it's
pro
basically it's
celebrity
Peter
golf.
Alice, obviously very famous
Legend.
golf
Yeah,
commentator,
yeah, yeah,
wearing classic 80s golf get-ups. He's got like
yeah,
massive collars. He's got the full like Pringle jumpers and all
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff.
And he loved
Uh,
it, didn't he? He
oh,
absolutely
he
loved it.
absolutely lived and breathed
Yeah.
it, didn't he? And with his classic Peter Alice commentary going on, and he's kind of he's awkwardly kind of interviewing the players. But basically, the premise is so you've got two professionals, one of which is Sevi, great.
Unbelievable.
The other's Lee Trevino again.
Do they sign them up for that?
I don't know, it's wild, isn't it? But
That's probably
actually,
Peter Alice, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I kind of I heard about it and I thought that sounds like it's going to be quite funny.
Yeah.
So I watched a bit of it and it was quite funny. But actually, I think if they remade that, it'd be an absolute gold mine. I think people would lap it up.
Yeah.
Two like
Who would you have? Go on then. Modern day
who's the modern
players.
day
So
Sevi?
who's the modern day Peter Alice? I suppose is your
Modern
first
day
one.
Peter Alice? Is that not just Peter Alice still?
Is Peter Alice is still alive? Is he?
He's still not commentating anymore, but it wasn't that long ago that he was still commentating.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think he's still alive. I don't think.
Let's keep on Peter Alice doing it.
We're
Because
gonna
actually,
he's still gonna do it.
we'll AI these days. You can do this, can't you?
We can do
So
this
we can have a
conversation,
hologram.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
We
We
you
can have
can
ABBA in the background,
correct.
Peter Alice in the
We'll
foreground.
do that.
We can do what we like.
We can splice all of his commentary together, and we could probably
Yeah.
come up with his bit. So let's keep him. Let's not do that with Sevi, because what will the Ryder Cup team do? Because
Okay.
that's the only way they can seem to get motivated to win a
Yeah.
match. So who are your two? Because Sevi and Lee Trevino are pretty big.
Big characters, right?
Yeah,
Big characters.
and yeah, characters as well.
Yeah.
Who are you having in today's golf arena as?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because you don't really have those
We
kind of
don't
players
see the
anymore.
characters, do we?
It's really hard to make that kind of comparison.
Who's
I think
the maverick?
maybe-
Go on. Who's the maverick golf player right now on tour? Is it?
I mean, I guess you could argue maybe for Rory. At least he kind of stands up for what he believes. He's pretty
Yeah.
outspoken, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's got that charisma.
He did. I think the TGL did him a world of good because a lot of his stuff on his mic was pretty decent.
Yeah, I think.
So his personality
I think
came
he'd be
out.
quite. I think he would work quite well on it because I think he'd have good chat.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
better chat than some of the others.
Right. And who
I think I'd
else
chuck
is
him
there?
in there.
Is there a joker in there? I've heard Justin Thomas is a bit of a joker. We put in Ricky Fowler in there because he's supposed to be a bit of a joker, isn't he? And he's kind of like, you know.
I don't know. What about the what's it called Joel Dharma? Do you stick him in?
Oh yeah,
He'd
someone
be
like
quite
that.
good value.
So and they have celebrities then as well, then playing.
So yeah, so basically they're paired then with a celebrity. So one of the celebrities is a sports celebrity,
Right.
and one of the others is in an entertainment business. So the one I watched was Sean Connery
Of course, classic.
and Henry Cooper.
And this one that you watched
Yeah.
was
I
at
mean, I didn't watch the entire
It
episode.
was
I
at
watched
Gleneagles.
it's all at Gleneagles.
Oh,
So
the
it's
whole thing's
all
there.
the
Of
whole
course, Sean Connery was there.
there's like series of it. So it obviously went on for a long time, but
Eight
it's all
series.
filmed on the Queen's Course. Yeah.
Holy shit!
So I think there's definitely like a little rabbit hole
Feel
of
like I need
YouTube
to.
videos to go and watch there, Nish.
I bought a Lyle and Scott jumper, but maybe I'm going to save that for the King's Course now. I might buy a Pringle jumper just
Peter
in his
Alice
honor.
jumper.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I am gonna reuse. Tom got us some tartan trousers to wear for the wedding,
Right, okay.
so I am actually gonna
You're
wear
gonna bring
them.
him out for a round,
I
are you?
am gonna wear them for around. It's just I don't know which way around to do it potentially, or just maybe both. I don't know. Depends if the weather's all right. But
I'll bring my kilt then, shall I?
yeah, I mean, I've got my plus 2 still.
Good opportunity.
It is a good opportunity to do it, isn't it?
I think
Maybe
so.
I think that should be saved for. I follow this Instagram feed. They're called the Hickory Hackers.
Okay.
So they basically just go around playing all these golf clubs with Hickory clubs. I mean, mental, really,
Yep.
doing that because it's hard enough hitting new tech, but something like that, just got zero
Yeah.
shock absorption, Yeah, I mean, they do obviously play St Andrews and places like that quite a lot. Big news on St Andrews, though, this week. Did you hear about that?
I didn't know.
So
That's
for
passed me by.
Scottish residents, they've reduced the green fee
Oh,
down
right.
to £42.50 if you got a
For
Scottish
any
postcode.
Scottish resident.
Yep.
So basically, we just need to buy a house in Scotland. Fine. Actually, it's probably
That's
cheaper just to
probably
pay the green fee,
cheaper
isn't it?
to just pay the green fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
What?
I mean, how good is that?
Yeah,
No,
that's pretty
it's
good.
bucking the trend of all of the green fees, which are going astronomical.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then suddenly the home of golf comes along and says, "No, you're all right. Actually, if you're Scottish,
Yeah, yeah.
we're going to give
And
you."
do they have like first dibs on tea times as well? Can they get
I've
a
got
tea
no
time?
idea actually. I mean,
Or is it
because
it's
there's all
just
that St
44 quid,
Andrews
but you can never
University
get
thing.
on?
Yeah, we've got 2 tea times a day.
Yeah.
Well, the whole St Andrews University thing, like, do they then get first dibs on?
I think there's
Tea
a day.
times.
I think there's a specific day, like Tuesday or whatever,
Is
that
there?
they can
Right,
go
okay.
and that they can go and play, and there's a
To,
section of teas that they
to
can go
be
and book.
fair, bearing in mind what St Andrews is and what it means to golf,
Hmm.
it's democratic though, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
just
Just
turn
rock
up in the morning and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
added onto a group,
Which we will do.
which probably will be doing, won't we? But like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How
It's pretty wild.
democratic is that? Whereas there's some courses which are the best, I put it in inverted commas, the best in the
Yeah.
world. You can't get on there for love nor
You
money,
can't even get on the property. Never mind on
You've got to be
on
like
the
a
tee
president
box.
or something, to get on. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, okay, right, yeah, of course Sean Connery was there. He'd love it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like something out of a film. It was quite weird, but it was definitely worth a watch, and definitely worth a remake.
I think
Again,
I'm gonna,
this
yeah,
is
I think
another
I'll do it.
Netflix program we've created
Just
here.
created, right? Yeah, Netflix. If it happens, then
We want a cut.
copyrighted.
Yeah.
2025 it was. We came up with the idea first to resurrect the original idea. Anyway, so I digress. But look, I think that we're dead excited about this course.
Yeah.
Because of the whole experience.
And I said this to you the
Are
other
we?
day, didn't I, after we'd kind of both had a look at the courses. I think I'm going to prefer the Queens. I know it's much lower ranked, but I love those little short kind of strategic par fours and all that kind of like that. That's my favorite kind of course.
There's
So
a
I
couple of
think,
really short par fours here, isn't there?
it's like 250-yard kind of.
You know, I felt about that one at Abu Dhabi that I didn't go for. I think I'm gonna have to do
Oh,
it.
now's your chance to redeem yourself, Nish.
Well, now you've
Have a
told me
whack at it.
about my shoulder turn. That's my swing mantra now. I mean, Jim isn't here today, but he
Jim
has
isn't
sent
here.
us through all of his side bets and signature hole things. But
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to talk about the Queens, Chris? I know you're looking forward to it.
I don't think so. No.
I'll bring one thing
so.
up.
Yep.
So
okay.
we'll sort of talk about it in both episodes, I think, as well. But Alex, who is the top 100 golf guru, who was our first ever bona fide guest,
Yeah.
who's doing the same thing that we're doing, just not insane enough to do it in 10 years. He about 4 weeks ago, did exactly the same double-header trip.
Okay. Yeah.
And number one, he absolutely loved it.
Perfect.
Like he just said, you are in for a treat, boys.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, Alex has played some really heavy hitter
top
courses,
ones,
like
yeah.
Wentworth and places like he's played all of those.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're in for a proper treat.
Okay.
So he's got to jump on the reviews. Well, I'm going to interview him the day before we do the reviews.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get a bit of a feel from him as to.
Cool.
I'd compare notes, I suppose.
Yeah,
It'd be great to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Now, he, on the Queen's course.
Did he play just the two, same as us?
Just the two, Kings and Queens.
Okay.
He played Kings first, Queens second.
Okay.
On the second day at the Queens, he for the day. So what they do in the clubhouse, they'll have a clubhouse leader as such,
Okay.
whoever shot the lowest round
Yeah.
that day.
Okay.
So
So you've got to officially like hand your score in when you get to the
you must
end.
have to let them know or something like that.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I don't know how they do that.
I shot a 58 today.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it. Yeah. He finished with the lowest score of the day.
Oh,
He
nice.
shot 78 that day.
Right, okay.
Um,
So what's that like?
and
10 over?
that is 10 over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like an absolute glorious day.
Yeah,
I think it was on the Queen's. I hope I'm not doing him a disservice that it was actually on the King's course.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, Alex, forgive me if it is actually the King's course. Please forgive me. That's a bit of a that's a bit of a big error. I think that isn't it? If I've got it the wrong way around. However, on one of them, he shot the
Okay.
course record.
Lowest round of the day.
I mean, that's great, isn't it? To have that little snap.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my score.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got on the Queen's course before we get to what Jim has very kindly sent us through, which I'm not happy about. But anyway, so we obviously we do a signature hole challenge, don't we?
Yep.
And if you haven't watched the one from Woodall Spa,
Please do.
give yourself 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, just go and
It's
watch
not
it.
even while you're making a brew. It's quicker than
It's
that.
gonna make you feel a whole lot
It
better
will
about
make
your golf game.
yeah. You'll sort of go, hold on a minute. So they're doing a podcast about golf. My God, look at them.
Hang on a minute.
I'll say
Nish, not
them.
they.
Look at
Mine
him.
was a classic
I've
par
just
three.
thought of the Royal We. Look, we're playing a couple of Royal courses here. So the Royal We, yeah, it was. I didn't have any kind of glory there, but bunkers, eh? So the signature hole challenge that Jim has set us for the Queen's course is the signature hole is the 18th hole.
Yep.
It's called Queen's Hame. Forgive me
Doesn't sound like
if
you pronounced
that's
that
not
right, Nish.
how the Scottish people say it. But obviously it's the last one. It's a par four. It's 350 yards,
Nice. Drivable then.
and he's gone for longest drive on
Okay.
that hole. So it'll be a short video because we'll
Is it
figure it
dog
out.
leg or is it straight up?
He hasn't given me any description of that.
Interesting.
Should we quickly check
I think we should have a little look at that
what
because
that looks like?
that could be interesting. Because if it's 350 dog leg, you're going to be hitting an
Let's
iron
go.
or a fairway wood in there, aren't you? Unless we both go tiger line over the trees.
So the signature 18th hole on the Queen's course is described as the 18th finish in front of the clubhouse and is a lovely closing hole. Downhill drive.
Downhill 350.
Ooh,
Definitely drivable then.
to a large green allows you to really attack the last.
Okay. That's going to be a fun
Interesting.
finish then.
Oh,
And
do you know what?
that's day one, isn't it? So we're still got a bit of energy. It's not going
That's
to be
day
36
one.
holes in.
That's a. I'm glad we're doing this signature hole challenge now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good one to focus the mind on,
That
isn't
will,
it?
won't it?
Oh,
Strong finish there.
I don't want to do anything else now. Just that's what I'm focusing on.
Just
Like,
gonna,
the other
just gonna
17
scrap
holes,
the
I'm
other
not bothered.
17, yeah.
I'm just picking up at the tee. Just pick up at the tee. Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, that should
That's a
be
good
interesting.
challenge.
It's one of those that when it's kind of in range like that, not that it's quite in range for me anymore, but it feels like it's in range or very close to being in range. It's very hard not to just
Try and wallop
absolutely
it.
rip it.
I mean, if you do a drive like you did on the second at Woodall Spa,
Yeah,
I think you're good.
yeah.
If you drive like the other
Yeah,
17 holes, you're not good, I'm
Nope.
afraid.
Big trouble.
Yeah, that we haven't had a chance to talk about it because I could only give my
Your one-sided
I can
opinion
give my one
of
side of
Woodall
it,
Spa.
it wasn't going well, was it?
Really wasn't going well, was it?
No,
But it's so annoying because the first drive of the day and the second was an
it was
absolute ripper,
amazing.
like 320, 325,
What was it?
right down the
Oh,
middle.
Christopher. That was it.
Oh, Christopher, you
Yeah.
did it.
So the side bet, and we'll mention this on both previews. The side bet is the lowest total score over both rounds.
Was total score.
Yeah.
Less handicap.
So I said, are we going points or are we going less handicap? Or are we just going gross? And he just said just gross.
Just gross.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because
I mean, I'm happy to take that
you're, of
challenge.
course you are. Of course
I feel like
I feel like that's in the bag
fair,
already.
It's fairly one-sided at the minute. The side bets. Oh no, the side bets aren't, are they?
No, the side
It's
bets.
just the signature hole.
Signature holes.
Signature
They've been
holes
par
one
threes, a
sided.
lot of them, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, I don't mind the signature hole ones. I think what's interesting, and this is the point I made to Jim. I just said it feels like now, 'cause obviously your lessons I think are kicking in, and speaking to you. Like your putting was fantastic actually.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it was
wood or
more
spar,
consistent.
much
You were
better.
getting, your lineup right and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you're getting down to, your score. Let's take Silith out of it because that was a real anomaly,
Yeah.
that score. But I checked your scores and you're like, it was like 93. You've done like 89. You've done 83, 88, 84, 88, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's
So
becoming more
you're
consistent.
hovering at that kind of
Yeah.
level, sub
And I
90.
feel like I'm just knocking on the door of breaking through
I
that.
think
I
a
think
good
if
day,
everything comes together, I
yeah,
feel like I'm starting to.
which could happen here because short course.
Yeah.
So your distance is going to come into the equation with, especially with your approaches.
Yeah.
Because if you could be much shorter iron
Yeah.
with your approaches, I think that'll
I mean,
stand
if
you
I
in
can
good
get to
stead.
100 yards, generally, I'm going to
Yeah,
score pretty
good
well from
there.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you're reaching that kind of level. You've got to be playing pretty badly, I think, to get over a 92, 93.
Yeah, I've had a pretty
Really,
bad day, I think, at
for
that point.
me, if I'm hovering around that 90 to 93, that's a good day for me.
Yeah.
So I think a total gross might be nailing me a little bit,
I
but we'll
think
go with
I
it.
agree with that.
So are we
I
are
mean,
we gonna
to
do
be
it? Are
fair,
we
if it's
gonna
only
do it
five and a
minus
half
our
thousand
hand?
yards, that probably plays into your
Probably
favour a
does
little bit
help a little
because
bit.
it just
Yeah,
takes a bit of that distance off.
yeah. Let's stick with it as it is now.
Okay.
But maybe we should start because we do now. Before we didn't. Now we do have official handicaps, so
Yeah.
we could handicap adjust
We
these
could handicap
these
adjust it.
things and say what's your gross
I tell you
minus
what,
handicap.
I'll give you an out. If
Fuck off!
I
I'm not having it. I'm not having any generosity. I'm afraid. Apart from your handicap, that's it.
Right, okay.
That's the only thing. Just because I know what's going to happen. You didn't really win though, did you? Right? Yeah. Fine. Yeah. So okay. So that's our side bet, and signature hole is going to be longest drive. We've not done longest drive since SNA, I don't think, have we?
No, I think
So
that's the only one we have done so
that's
far,
going to
isn't
be
it?
good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and just this course in general. I think it, I'm downplaying this, or sorry, I'm underselling this course now. But it almost feels like that kind of, go and do your little warm up on a par 3 course before you go and do
It
the main
feels like
course. It's got that kind of feel
because at
to it.
5,500 yards, it feels just like that second course, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, essentially, like, yeah, like the ladies' course at some of the old traditional clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what it is, I suppose, isn't it?
How funny would it be if we come off of that and go, actually, yeah, I really like that Queens one. That was a wonderful.
I just
Do
have
you
a
think you're gonna have
sneaking,
that
I have a
sneaky?
sneaking suspicion
You
that
do like that strategic
I
play,
love
though,
that.
anyway.
I love that stuff. So I think that's going to play right into my.
I think so.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit of. It's the first course we're playing there as well, and we're giddy and excited,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
just had a
And
fantastic
we're not
night's
massively
sleep and a
hungover
Premier Inn.
from. Yeah.
So yeah, not hungover actually. That's probably the main thing. Next time on the Top 110 Golf Podcast, we'll preview the King's Course at Gleneagles.